Welcome to your friendly neighborhood historian, where we discuss just enough history to inform, intrigue, and entertain. I'm Bill Petro. The history of Easter and Pontius Pilate, his background before Good Friday. The Roman governor who presided over Jesus' trial and ordered his crucifixion had a complex background. The name Pontius Pilate provides two valuable clues to his background and ancestry. The family name, Pontius, was that of a prominent clan among the Samnites, hill cousins of the Latin Romans. They had almost conquered Rome in several fierce wars. The Ponti were of noble blood, but when Rome finally absorbed the Samnites, their aristocracy was demoted to the Roman equestrian class, or middle-class order, rather than the higher senatorial order. Pilate's praenomen, or his personal first name, Pilatus, proves almost conclusively that he was of Samnite origin. Pilatus means armed with a javelin. The pilum, or javelin, was 6 feet long, half wooden, half-pointed iron shaft, which the Samnite mountaineers hurled at their enemies with devastating results. Its hardened tip could pierce shields and body armor. The Romans quickly copied it, and it was this pilum, in fact, during the late Republican period, that made the Roman Empire possible. Pilate is mentioned in the Bible in all 4 of the New Testament Gospels, the Acts of the Apostles, and the Epistle of 1 Timothy. He is also described in several later apocryphal writings. Amongst the Roman historians who write about him are Tacitus, the Jewish writer Philo of Alexandria, and the Jewish historian Josephus. All of them discuss Pilate. Pontius Pilate, equestrian. Some historians feel that Pilate rose to prominence and perhaps gained the governorship of Judea under Sejanus' sponsorship. Some may recall the name from the BBC television rendition of I, Claudius, where Star Trek's The Next Generation's Patrick Stewart played the role of Sejanus. In imperial Rome, Lucius Aelius Sejanus was of the equestrian order like Pilate. Sejanus was the prefect or head of the Praetorian Guard, the emperor's personal bodyguard. Sejanus was an ambitious man. He had the complete trust of Emperor Tiberius, who at that time was living in self-exile on the Isle of Capri. It is quite likely that at this time, Pilate was admitted to the inner circle of Amici Caesaris, or Friends of Caesar, an elite fraternity of imperial advisors open only to senators or equestrians high in the imperial service. This fact would play a part in the later trial of Jesus before Pilate. The Emperor Tiberius was getting old and paranoid. Sejanus took advantage of this and offered Caesar the names of senators he claimed were not loyal to Rome. Tiberius would convict them of maestas, or treason. Their property and wealth were forfeited, and they usually took their own life to avoid bringing public shame upon their name and their family. Sejanus hoped to consolidate his power and advance himself in the emperor's confidence, perhaps to become co-consul with Tiberius. However, his boldness did not go unnoticed. Through the efforts of the future emperors Caligula and Claudius, Sejanus' plots were made known to the emperor, and Sejanus himself was convicted of maestas, or treason. His allies and appointees also became suspect, including Pilate. The prefecture of Pontius Pilate. It is unlikely that Pilate was an incompetent official, for he ruled Judea for a decade, from AD 26 to 36. It is doubtful that Emperor Tiberius, who insisted on good principal administration, would have retained Pilate for so long, the second longest tenure of any of the first-century Roman governors in Israel. Nevertheless, the governorship of Judea was a most taxing experience, and aside from Good Friday, our sources of Philo and Josephus suggest there were several other incidents in which Pilate blundered. Here are three of them. In what came to be called the Affair of the Roman Standards, Pilate's troops once marched into Jerusalem carrying medallions with the emperor's image or bust among their regimental standards. This provoked a 5-day demonstration by the Jews at the provincial capital city of Caesarea on the coast. They protested these effigies as a violation of Jewish law concerning engraved images. Though Pilate had his soldiers threaten them with death, he finally relented and ordered the offensive standards removed. Later, he built an aqueduct from cisterns near Bethlehem to improve Jerusalem's water supply, but he paid for it with funds from the temple treasury. Josephus records that this sparked another riot, which was put down only after bloodshed by Roman auxiliaries, despite Pilate having cautioned his troops against using excessive force. On another occasion, Pilate set up several gold shields in his Jerusalem residence that, unlike the standards, bore no images, only a bare inscription of dedication to the Emperor Tiberius. Nevertheless, the citizens protested. By this time, Pilate refused to remove them. The Jews, with the help of Herod Antipas, formally protested to Tiberius, and in a very testy letter, the writer Philo reported that the emperor ordered Pilate to transfer the shields to a temple in Caesarea and rebuked him, quote, for his audacious violation of precedent, close quote, concerning his Jewish subjects. This last episode occurred just 5 months before Good Friday. Tiberius had his eye on Pilate. Thank you for listening. I'm Bill Petro, your friendly neighborhood historian. You can find more details on this topic and others on my website at billpetro.com.